Looks like I forgot to put the right scene on, huh? Oh wait, let's start this over. Are you looking for a faster video? Well, today it's a live stream, and I know you're probably looking for a really nice and tidy, edited down video, but I have ways for you to make it faster. You can click that little gear on the YouTube settings right there on the video and adjust the playback speed, make me sound like a chipmunk, and it'll go a lot faster. You can also look and see if there's timestamps for this project in the description, and if you're on a desktop, you can hover over the time bar at the bottom of the screen and see if it's chunked up into chapters, and then that way you can go directly to the step you're looking for. And lastly, you can also tap on the screen on the right hand side of the video picture or on the left hand side to make the video jump ahead, forward or backward if you're on a mobile device. And you can adjust that amount in your settings so you can have complete control over how much it jumps. So if you are on a desktop, you can use the fast forward or the rewind, and that will make it go faster as well. You can also enable subtitles, and the little CC on the screen will enable closed captioning. That way, if I am a little bit harder to understand with that double playback speed, the subtitles might help you out. All right, well, I know that it's not a nice little edited video, but if you sew with me, we'll get there together and it'll be lots of fun. And now for the live stream. Happy sewing! Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. You know, I'm not a professional. I just sew pretty good. How are you guys? Happy Saturday. How's everything look and sound? I think I had my microphone turned at an angle for that Friday Sews video, which is so annoying. There's just so many details to remember. And I'm doing all kinds of other video things in between streams, you know, so things get kind of wonky. Well, not wonky, but just adjusted for something else. So, but I planned a bunch of things today to kind of aid those in sewing their overalls. Not a bunch. I think there's going to be some fun details because I decided that my straps are probably going to be too thick for the hardware, so I'm going to add snaps instead. As long as I leave myself two to fix those two on my Kelly anorak we're not going to talk about. No clock. Oh, it's going. Thank you. Let's see. There we go. Thank you. We like seeing the viewer count too, but we can't really see it down there, can we? I think, oh! Isn't that weird? Okay, I'm just not going to fiddle with anything. I actually feel like the sewing fairy has not left the building yet, and I don't want to poke the bear. Because when I was doing some videos for these pockets here yesterday, and oh my gosh, like every little thing, I was like, where did that piece go? And why is this a left and not a right? I know I cut it there, and then I'd find it over there in the scrap pile, and it was just... Anyway, I'm Sarami, by the way. I never introduced myself, and I apologize for that. People are so good with their videos about introducing themselves, and I hardly ever do that. So, and today I'm sewing part 2 of the Yanta overalls. Is it, Penny? See, I'm scared to turn things like that up because the jingle's pretty loud. I don't know why, but that intro jingle is so loud. Every time I put it in an uploaded video, I'm like, whoa, my goodness. Hi, Ray. And hello, Penny and Beverly. Nice to see you. All right, so like I said, we're doing part 2 of the Yantas, and I just had a couple of things I wanted to talk about so I don't forget. So the other day I made cutaway pockets for the Yantas, and someone suggested I maybe add that pattern to the Patreon, and I'm going to do that. And yesterday I recorded a video, and I just realized like there's so many things you can do with that pocket that I actually thought it made a good video. So I made the video and I'm making it for YouTube. The pattern pieces are going to be available for Patreon folks, and they're going to get a bonus video as well. So these are the samples. So it's like all kinds of ways. So this one, you know, has a contrast but single layer bottom pocket and a facing finish. This one here has also a single layer on the bottom but it matches. And if you're better than me, you can cut it and it'll be like invisible. and then a binding finish on this opening. And all this is mix and match, you know. And then this one here is fully lined, so it has a pocket lining that is lining this top pocket and the bottom pocket, and it has a facing to obscure that, so it looks like it's all in fabric, but it's not. So lots of ways to sew these. And I even, you know, overlocked this one. I turned this one under and top stitched it down, and this one I did neither because it was a video. So anyway, hello Hannah. Oh wait, Heidi, how's it going? Oh, I'm so glad you're here. Welcome. Hello Elena. Hey Terry. Hey Allison. Hello Florentine. Hello. How's it going? Thanks for telling me that, Penny. I'll try and turn that up without turning it up, you know? I don't actually know if I can do that. I'm a little over tech issues lately. So, okay, the other thing is that I'm still like compiling jeans patterns, and thank you everybody for all of the cover stitch and overlock messages and emails and all that. I'm kind of got all of them, and I'm kind of looking at all of them, and I really appreciate everybody's feedback. So thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks for taking the time to do that. It's so hard to buy a machine sometimes because you don't get to go and try it out every time. And I totally recommend people do that. I don't think I'm going to get to do that. I'm going to be one of those folks that has to kind of do it blind. So, you know, I appreciate your feedback. I've been kind of on this other rabbit hole of getting a tabletop pants dress form. Hello, Elizabeth. How's it going? And that led me down making my own dress form, which I have to be honest, I am not interested in doing that. So yeah, I agree, Penny. Plus I feel like that intro is going to be kind of annoying for after a while. In fact, after a while, you guys can tell me you can stop putting that intro before your video. We're all trained now. Hi, Serena. So I found this video, and maybe I'll search for it and link it. And she made herself a cloned bottom half and used expanding foam and tape, masking tape. And I thought, you know, I probably could do that. I don't actually need my pants form to be me. I just don't want it to be a straight size, and I don't want it to be a small size. I just want something that has fitting things to do on it. Hey, Sydney. So that's kind of interesting. I don't know if anyone's interested in even doing something like that. So I always waffle between doing, and everyone's feedback on doing more fitting videos. I hear you. I know I don't do enough of those, or pattern drafting videos. And honestly, it's because I feel like as much as people really like those, the sewing videos are what people are really looking for. Hey, Sharon. So I'm just trying to do what people want and ask for. And I think fitting is just such a like hot button topic, and it's just so overwhelming that I feel like if I'm always doing fitting videos, on the one hand, I'm trying to empower people, but on the other hand, I feel like it also can be intimidating and overwhelming and make people feel a little bit like, dang it, I just don't, it's like so nerve-wracking that in other words, it's like always in your face, as if I'm saying, you need to do all these fitting things, and you don't. You just need to do what you want to do. But I also think that there's ways to go about it more intuitively and less with the whole, I need this adjustment, all those labels. And I think that maybe what I could do is start it from the standpoint of teaching you techniques to understand what you need to do to the fabric to make it fit you. That way, because that's how you're taught in a design school when you're doing it for a company. So exactly, Sydney. And it is so body dependent. And so that's why I feel like maybe coming at it, and there's probably been dozens of experts and professionals that have done all these fitting things ahead of me that are amazing. So it's another reason why I'm like, oh, it's out there. And a lot of folks, I know a lot of you are paying to be in groups or Patreons or whatever for that kind of information. And I don't need to compete with that. Like, you've got your source, you know what I mean? So I think like I'm going to go at it from the standpoint of how would I tackle this fit issue? And it's really hard to, the other thing is like, I have an incredible custom dress form. And for those of you who haven't been here long, that was an anonymous gift from somebody. And I love the thing, and I do not use it enough. And I say that I know a lot. I use it off camera, probably more than on camera. And the reason is because not all of you have a custom dress form. So I actually am not like, and it's a Beatrice, and they're really busy and they're doing really well. So it's not an ad for them at all. And I would totally recommend if you want to go that route. But here's the deal. That is when you get into the world of draping, and just not everybody can drape. We're all mostly buying flat patterns and adjusting the flat pattern based on that. So it's different than draping. And I know that there's an argument to say, well, you can use the flat pattern and put it on your dress form and do that. But you are, it's just like they kind of are two different genres. And yes, they can work together, but then you're doing it in a completely different way. And the way I look at draping is if I have blocks that are based on me and based on my size. And then that way, once I've made those blocks, I actually don't drape as much anymore. So using your custom form to make the blocks, I like flat pattern drafting. Draping, it adds a lot of extra time unless you're draping with your real fabric and you're doing it in that couture way where you're draping it the way it's going to be and then you make it stay that way, right? You don't need a pattern, right? But I think a lot of us want these repeatable options. So if we have our block, then we can lay it on the archer button up and go, oh, look at this. My shoulder is higher and my armhole is shallower. And then you can kind of line up your block on there. And the more you do it, the better you get at kind of anticipating what works and what doesn't. And you have far fewer adjustments. You know what I mean? So this is why I don't do a ton of fitting videos. I feel like it's really hard for me to show you because I do some of it just kind of naturally. I am really lucky that I can kind of gauge the size on a chart, pick my size, and just make some really slight adjustments to do it. I'm very proportional. Right now, my lower half is bigger than it ever has been, and so I'm a little less proportional. But for the most part, everything still fits me, and I'm really lucky about that, you know? And I think, like, solving my fit issues on camera doesn't help you. But I think having a pants dress form or something where I can maybe recreate it or at least show you, hey, this is what you do if the fabric's binding here, or if you see drag lines here, what could you do to release those? I think learning that kind of intuition and kind of learning how to deal with the fabric was the thing that helped me the most. So yeah, Terry. Yeah, you said that. I thought that was really interesting. Yeah, I saw you say that you just learned a totally different tummy adjustment and why the other one wasn't working for you. And I think that that's a really good point because I think all those adjustments that you see in the home sewing world, and hi Libby, are fully 100% great and accurate. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm just saying is, like for me, I have this issue with my back and I couldn't wait to get my dress form. Like you look at my backside and it's like, that doesn't look, well, you can't see her right now. She's there. She doesn't want to talk to you. She's got her back to you. I couldn't wait to see my backside because I always have this issue with fabric pooling at my lower back. And when I got my dress form, I was kind of like, well, I don't look much different than other people. Like, what's going on there? But you guys have seen it when I've taken a pattern and put it on, and then I'm like, look at this. And I can make a dart horizontally across my lower shoulder blades almost every time. And I have to scoop out a lot when I don't have a very small waist, you know? So it's really interesting. And I thought, well, maybe it's because I have a big tummy and it's pulling. It's not that, because my side seams are still plumb. So all those things like the sway back adjustment and all of those tilted hip, all that stuff, none of those adjustments would work for me. It's just how I'm shaped. And so learning what to adjust based on what my body is doing, it doesn't matter if you're using a specific adjustment. You don't have to. And my point is not all of them are covered. So you just need to pay attention to what you need. So yeah, that's awesome, Libby. And where did you make your block and who did you go to for that? Awesome, Allison. I saw Michelle who you guys see in chat sometimes, she's doing my block series, and it was really funny to see her commenting on it, and she's really liking it. And I'm really happy because we really set out, and that's kind of an ambitious endeavor. And this is like a year and a half ago that I did this, right? About a year and a half ago. We did it like pre-holiday season, which is like the absolute worst time when you don't have like all this extra spare time to devote to this extremely specific project that you really want to pay a lot of attention to. And it's also really hard to do something like that on your own because getting your measurements for making your block is pretty important. But I taught everybody how to draft their own block, a front and a back, live on camera, from measurements. So not from a draped thing. So feel like that evens the playing field. Like everybody has their body and everybody has a measuring tape, paper, and a pencil, right? And that's what we did. And I had that little dress form at the time. I didn't have mine. And it worked really good, but it didn't work for everybody. And so we kind of got stopped because I was waiting for everybody to get to the point where we needed to go forward. We never got there, and then we just started sewing projects again. So if you guys are interested, that still is a good series, and it was interesting for me because I haven't drafted a lot of blocks from measurements. I'll be honest with you. It's just not very common, except in the home sewing world. And it was so, for me, very fascinating to use those steps and apply it that way and then see it on the dress form. And even I was kind of like, okay, I hope this works, because I've drafted pants blocks for friends from measurements, and it went okay. Every single time it went meh. I feel like it was just easier to have a pattern that you're like, all right, this fits okay. Let's adjust everything else. You know what I mean? And then that way it's a little easier. So that's my thoughts on fitting, but I'm down for it and I'm really excited to do it. And I think partly it's because I've been thinking about doing this pants dress form. And I also think this is more of a interesting side note, but anytime I do a video, an uploaded video, like the collar and collar stand video, which by the way is like my #1 video lately, which is so cool. I'm so excited that video helps people and it gets views because I really thought that video was out there a billion times. But for me, I just wanted this nice little catalog of how-tos, and I like it so that, because I get so many comments. I haven't lately gotten so many comments. Oh, I wish this was a faster video. And that's why you have that whole long intro now, because you guys are being punished for all those folks. So I'm sorry. But they want this nice little tidy edited video. And it's like, well, it's a live stream. It's not that. But doing those how-tos provides an opportunity. So I'm like, oh, hey, you don't have to watch the entire Fairfield button-up live stream series. You can just watch these 3 things that you need to make your shirt. You can figure out the rest probably. Hi Donna, how's it going? Nice, Ray. You're trying to figure out a garment to use. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean that is really helpful. One bodice block even has a sleeve. That's awesome. Sleeve block's cool. I even did one of those too. I did a sleeve block. I thought that was actually really fun. So the how-to video thing. So what I find interesting is every time I do those, I actually learn it even deeper because I have to learn how to talk. And I don't really think I'm a very good speaker on how to explain these things. This is very evident I feel like in the Friday Sews videos. I'm trying to keep those really casual, but it's really hard. I feel like I can be very, I thought there was someone down there, sorry. I can be very rambly, and you guys know that, and that's why I would get the comments like, we don't need to hear your whole great Aunt Tessie's story. Like, well, it's a live stream, so go to another video, But I think when I do those kinds of uploaded how-tos, I learn it deeper because I learn how to translate it to language. I'm still working on not always replacing the precise word for thing or this, and trying to be always more specific. And I look forward to first of all, I was like, fitting videos and pattern drafting videos, like that's just something I just do without thinking. I don't really think I can teach that. And I'm just not I'm not a trained teacher. And then I thought, you know what, this will be good for you. You'll actually learn it better and you'll learn it it'll start like, it's like going forwards and backwards, learning it forwards and backwards, So I feel like if you ever want to get really good at something, even if it's something you don't know very well, pretend like you're teaching it to somebody. It really helps. Ray, is that all your views? Ray's here for Aunt Tessie. You know where I get that from is when Ron Weasley has to wear that those dress robes. And he says, these look like my great Aunt Tessie, and they smell like my great Aunt Tessie. Yeah, right, Susu? Exactly. And it's why, like, I get a lot of, when I get pretty confrontational ones, I'm a pretty confrontational person, to be honest. I can barely walk into a new building without having a panic attack, but I'm also really confrontational. And it's because it's the justice for all person in me. I'm very much that kind of person. And even though I might pass out doing it, I'm very much like, here's my boundary, and you can't cross that, and you're in my home. You don't have to be here, and I can kick you out. So you don't really see that because we have such a lovely chat here, and we're not a gaming crowd where you see a lot of that kind of stuff, or other YouTube channels. I watch some really fun YouTube channels, not very regularly, and the comments, I'm just so disappointed in people. I'm like, really? You chose to actually write that? Like, why? So anyway, this video, it's done, it's ready, but I don't have the pattern pieces completely done for Patreon, so you guys have to wait because they get it first. But this will be up soon. And that is like a minor plug for my Patreon. I'm starting to really kind of get into it and understand it a little better. And I feel like I'm going to be starting to spend a lot more time there. I also think I might get rid of my newsletter. I never send a newsletter. It costs me $70 a month to have the newsletter program or access, to MailChimp. And that's $70 I could be spending on Notions or, things like that, right? Or paying for Zoom every month and stuff like that. Oh, Elizabeth, one time after the fire happened, my mom and I went to, this was kind of a funny story, but kind of also I don't know. So we went to this nursery that she always loved going to. And the nursery, it was a couple months after the fire. I feel like that time frame after the fire, I do not, for my mom and I both, we don't know when we did what. It might not even a couple months. It actually was in the first month. It was our favorite nursery, and they had this open house, and it was specifically towards survivors of the campfire, and they were handing out bags of things to kind of mildly jumpstart their gardening, because I knew gardening was so important to their customers, and they knew that it's like the yarn store had a ton of yarn, and I donated all these project bags and everything I could, and extra yarn even, because people find solace in their grief and then their stress and doing a craft or gardening or whatever. We all know that. It's very obvious, right? So we went to this nursery thing, and literally we pulled up and both of us were like, I mean, we didn't even say anything. All of a sudden we just looked at each other and we were like, what are we doing here? This is nuts. Like, my mom didn't want to like go out in public and have to deal with how she was feeling about the fire publicly, and everybody there is there for that reason. Like, all of a sudden it just dawned on us, like, what did we just sign up for here? And I said, I just turned around and I was like, you know what? Let's just go to the door, like door to the outer yard. I was like, let's just see it. This is what I tell myself to get myself places. This is what I told my daughter too. I'd be like, let's just walk in the door and we'll see what we think, and we can just walk back out. We're like, okay. And it ended up being an amazing day. So, but later on, we went to Lowe's and we were Christmas shopping, because this is all like right before Christmas. And my dad, he needed all his tools, so I was buying all his tools. My mom was buying stuff for my dad and brother. Christmas shopping was extremely easy that year because they needed everything. And so all the local businesses really, really, really like ponied up and gave tons of discounts, free mattresses, free everything. I mean, like there was just stuff, which is another one of my little fire survivor lessons. Don't give these people all the free stuff. They have nowhere to put it. And they're usually staying in someone's home that's already like full of stuff. So it's like, it was kind of this weird time. So we're sitting there, and when I checked out, I think this is what happened. I think this is the order of it. I checked out. She said, oh no, my mom checked out. Oh, that's right. I thought I lost my wallet. And I thought, oh my gosh, did I lose it at the nursery? Couldn't find it anywhere. I looked in my car. I'm kind of obsessive about not losing things. I never lose things. And so I was, got to the checkout and I couldn't find it. And I got kind of panicky, you know, because it was pouring rain outside. It was dark. And my mom's like, just go and look for it. It's okay. I'll check out and then I'll hold your stuff for you. And I was like, okay, because she knows, you know, we know, right? And, oh, it's okay, Mrs. Necro. I'm telling a long, weird story about how I can be very nervous going to do something, but also be very confrontational. So I ended up going to customer service and say, hey, did anyone turn in a wallet? And they're like, no. And I was like, okay. And so I went back to my mom. She was standing in the line still to check out. I said, I'm just going to go out and check the truck. And so I went and checked my truck and found it. And I came back. And so my mom's like, okay, here's your stuff. She had just checked out and I was checking out. And the girl was like, are you a campfire survivor? Because we have a discount. And my mom's like, I didn't get asked. And I said, no, I'm not, but my mom is. And the girl was like, oh. And I was like, well, you just checked her out. Can you apply the discount? Like, it was hard enough to, like, get a discount and want a discount, but every little bit helped. I mean, they just lost everything, right? And the girl was like, well, you could just try customer service or something. And she was so rude. And here's the deal. She could have been a survivor herself. She could have been at the end of a long day. I don't know, but it really bugged me. I said, you know, I'm really sorry, but you're really being rude. And my heart right now is like, don't, because you're like, don't you dare diss my mama. You know what I mean? Like that whole thing, like not only was I feeling like I got to stand up for her, it was my mom. And I was like, no, I'm not sorry. You're being really rude and mean. And I picked up my mom's stuff and I walked to customer service. And my mom, and I didn't think anything of this, but I almost passed out on the way to customer service. And then we left and everything was right in the world. I had my wallet. My mom and I had our purchases and we were just kind of like, whatever. It was a long, long emotional day. And my mom was telling the story later on. She goes, I can't believe that she did that. And I was like, I had totally forgotten about it. And I was like, I barely remember doing that, Mom. Like, that's how I am. I'm like, I don't want to ask where the bathroom is, but if I see someone, you know, being rude to someone, I'm definitely going to be like, let me at him. You know, that's why I say I need a blog called Come At Me, Bro. So I'm really sorry you're here for sewing. Oh my God. Oh, we're already a half hour in. Let's do it. But anyway, that's my thing. That's my great Aunt Tessie story today. So, you're here for the Yanta overalls. And we got so far the other day, and I ended up doing a bit of backtracking off camera. Very rare for me to do that, but this is what I did, and I think you guys are going to approve. I removed the green top stitching around the cutaway pockets here. Why is the autofocus on? Did you just see that? That was the autofocus on. Let's, I'm a little shaky just after telling that story because that's what a weirdo I am. There we go. Hopefully that works. That's not too bright or too dark, right? Yeah, exactly. So I changed that. I put just navy blue thread so they're still stitched down. And I flipped over my fabric so now I can see it. So then I had to replace my serging between here. It wasn't that bad. It was worth it. I'm really glad I did that. And I think they look better, you know. That green swoop there was a little just overpowering. And I did one other thing. Oh, I removed the green stitching here. And so I have an idea. What do you guys think about this? I don't want to lose those pins. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to top stitch in a little bit and just make this pocket opening a little bit narrower, just like a little angle right here. I can still get my phone in there. It would still hold a little bit. And then that way I don't have to stitch down the middle. And I also saw in the instructions you're supposed to stitch from the bottom to the top. I think that's an excellent tip if you're doing it so that you don't get a little bubble like this. when you go to do that. You know what I mean? So, hello, Debbie. How's it going? Elizabeth, that is exactly it. I am like to my core a live and let live person. But I mean both sides of that. Live and let live. Meaning, and it works both ways. Oh, Barbara, that's a good idea. Oh, I like that idea. I wonder about it through this thicknesses though, because we have a fold right here. And we have this. I think that's such a good idea, Barbara. That's why you watch the cats day and night. They're just on. I don't think I can do it on these, but I think if someone's doing a lighter weight fabric, I think that's an excellent idea. Even a button and buttonhole I might be able to manage better, because then I can just put the buttonhole on this piece, which is a little thinner, and then the button here. You guys are so smart. Oh, from the Central Coast. I saw the N. Then I would have full usage, exactly. And so, because I think it's a little big for my phone. My phone is massive, I know. But, you know, really, should I be really gardening with the phone? But I listen to audiobooks. Yeah. I like that idea. Okay, here's my other little thing. I remembered my daughter painted this. So this came in my needle sharp box, and it's a little like leather patch for like the back of your jeans. This is just definitely not my aesthetic, like the happiness is homemade thing. And my daughter turned it over and she did this little drawing. This was a couple of years ago probably. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's a watermelon. This is so perfect this week. But I just don't, I think it's a little much on these. But I just had to show you guys that because I did kind of briefly consider it. I think if anything, they would have been best here. It's just a little big. Then maybe we put these on the Dawn jeans. Even up here. I don't know. But isn't that cute? I haven't really done the like wetness test. I don't know how it would wash. So maybe it would be better if I don't. But it just popped into my head today. A loop and a button. Oh, yeah. That's true, Elizabeth. Very good point. Very good point. Or how do I tell my husband, I've fallen in a hole, you know? And you need to come get me? Or more likely, I'd be snagged on a piece of cactus and can't get myself, you know, off. Okay, so the other thing I did was I tried these on to determine, do I need a side zipper knot and my strap length? And because of, I started thinking about, I saw a couple of you mention your straps were kind of thick. And then I saw the Decades of Style Instagram post today on that lovely set of Ophelia overalls that person made. She did a gorgeous job. Like, she picked a perfect color fabric. You guys got to check them out. Those Ophelia overalls look really cute from Decades of Style. And she had that struggle. And so it was kind of a good timing that they posted that so I could see her struggles. And she was using a canvas. And she had overall hardware. And she just couldn't get it through the thing, you know, the little, all the whoop-de-doos of the overall hardware. And I was like, yeah, there's no way I can get this really thin and through that little tiny buckle. So I think I'm going to do a snap. I think that would be easy. And that's why I really wanted to determine the length of my straps. And so I have them pinned here. They're pretty long because this would be, you know, like turned back for overall hardware and you could adjust it. And I squatted in them to make sure I still had room. Kind of a you know, happy balance there. I don't want them to sag below between my legs to where the rise there rubs on my thighs, because that just wears you out after a while, you know. And then but I also want to be able to squat in them because I'm gardening. So I've never gotten stuck in, have I gotten stuck in poison oak? I don't have issues. I have it right now. I know it's going away. But I think that's because I picked up a Loki, and he had it because I had it on both arms, and me and Cricket did too. We both got it in the same spot, and I'm pretty sure they say you can't get it from people and animals, and that's absolutely rubbish. The only time I've ever gotten poison oak is from my husband or now my dog. I've never gotten it from the plant walking through. I know someone would argue with me about that, but I know it's true. So I know it's true. My problem is I got stuck with the agave. Yeah, I've gotten stuck there. I've gotten stuck in stinging nettles. I walked through and I was a kid and I couldn't get back, you know. That was the worst. I'd never experienced that. All right, so I think I actually positioned my straps incorrectly when I tried this out. I was looking at the sewing instructions and, oh, although my seam allowance would be gone. No, I did that right. Phew, finally. Okay. Lastly, like I said, I don't need the zipper. It is close. But I don't need the zipper to get these on and off. And she says if you're using a straight size, you most likely don't. But I know a few of you do need that, especially if you have like a narrow waist and you're using the hips of the garment pattern. Maybe you cinched it in up there, or I don't know, whatever reason. So I'm going to do the best I can a zipper tutorial. I didn't really prepare for this, but I cut a bunch of stuff out. And this is what I wanted to say on the Patreon thing. I don't push my Patreon, and I don't ever think anyone needs to sign up for that. But I wanted to say this is such a perfect example of how it helps me keep going. Because buying things like using, this zipper to make a sample. Hopefully I can reuse the zipper, but I have to remove it. And it's like all that time to do it, right? To put it in there and stuff. So things like that, like little things like that, those are the things that really help. So yeah, I don't understand, Mrs. Necro, why people say that. Hi, Martina. How's it going? Yeah, right, Sydney? People say that, and I'm like, that's not true. Because the first time I ever had it, I got it from my husband, and it was on my shins, and it was from the bed sheets. I never saw the poison oak patch he went through. He was on like a hike with the dogs. And then he got it really bad. He's super susceptible to it. He got it so bad, then he had to go on steroids and everything. And he went to a show. Like, he was out of town. And then I got the poison oak from the sheets on my shins. That's where he had gotten it, on his lower legs. I know I got it from the sheets. Okay, this is the other idea I had. If I had more snaps, I would probably do this for you guys, just because I wouldn't mind a side opening on my overalls to make them easier on and off, right? That's fine. They go on and off, they're fine, but, more room would be nicer. I think putting a snap facing, this is the other reason I'm not going to do it on mine, because I put this cutaway pocket, and I think this would be a little tricky in the denim to put a zipper here. They call for Helen's Closet calls for an invisible zipper. And I think you could do either invisible, or depending on your fabric. If you're doing like a linen set of overalls, I think the invisible zipper would be really nice. Linen or lighter weight. Anything heavier than that, the invisible zipper is going to be a little bit tricky, because I don't really feel like these are designed for heavy fabrics, because what happens is it just doesn't curl around and then be invisible. So then you just see it there. I'm not really an expert invisible zipper person, but I know that much. So you could do something, a chunkier zipper. I hate these kinds of zippers, but I have this one, and I was like, well, I could put it on my overalls. I just like coil chain. I don't really like the tooth ones, so. Oh. Yeah, you know what? That is one thing you have to be allergic to get it, but you can build up an intolerance for it and eventually start getting it, Mrs. Necro. And I'm starting to get there. I've had a lot of exposure to it, and so now I'm starting to be more susceptible to it. But it is one of those things. But the agave incident, the great agave incident of 2019 for me, that was not an allergy base. That would happen to anybody. Oh, shoot, Allison. Nello! All right. So my idea for doing a snap placement, I just kind of did this 2 minutes before I went live. Then obviously you saw that I didn't even have the right scene on. I think if you sew across the top and bottom of a little piece of fabric like this. Turn it right side out so that now these edges are finished. Right? These edges are finished now. And you have this little extension. This is what I was trying to describe the other day. Now you could sew this to the back, right? And then you'd have this extension here. And then you could put your facing behind here. Obviously the pockets doesn't come on the pattern. So this is my own little invention. So yours would be smooth without it probably. And if you had a facing sewn back here, just a little piece of fabric that is stitched to the garment, one layer. This is, just pretend like this is one layer, you know, just back here. Let me just pin this. I feel like I'm doing a little bit of contortion here. Let's see, wait, how would you do this up here too? Yeah, I think you'd want to drop that down. And this is finished up here. I feel like I might be oversimplifying this and I might be misdirecting you. I do this on those Burnside bibs, but if you had a facing back here, this was clean finished as well. Right, this is clean finished. Then you could put a snap on this and a snap here, or a button and buttonholes, and then just sew up your side seam there to there, and then you'd have like a little placket, if that makes sense. Oh wow, Nancy. Yeah, see, you exposed yourself too much. You had to catch it, take down the park. Nice, Allison. Be free. Relocation. And then, you know, I think you can sew your facing the same way. Just don't top stitch anything down along this edge quite yet. Once you got your facing in there, it'll be clean finished. Right, so it's clean finished here. Then you have this facing, right? And this doesn't have to be that pretty because this is going to fold over it and line up to that side seam still. So I think that's an option if you didn't do a cutaway pocket like me. So I'm just throwing that out there. And then you can do buttons and buttonholes or Velcro snaps. I'm with Terry on the whole Velcro thing, or maybe it's Adina. Adina said in Facebook group today, I'm not doing Velcro. And I agree with her. Velcro is kind of problematic on your clothing, especially in the, you know, laundry. Make sure you fasten it. So yeah, I did, Elizabeth. I feel like it's kind of an early video and I modified it a little bit. So yeah, I'm not sure there's timestamps, but you can check it out. You can see baby Sarah me from 2.5 years ago. All right. So let's see here. So this is an invisible zipper, and I'm kind of having qualms about doing this little tutorial, but why isn't this, wait, this invisible zipper is not rolling out. It's not rolling out. What the heck? Let me go get another one. Wow, I've never seen that before. See, so the invisible zipper, the coil chain curls over. See, so this little channel peels back right here. Sorry, the autofocus isn't on. So you sew along this edge of stitching right here. Theoretically, then the zipper, when it's closed, it curls over and pulls the fabric on the right side closer together and thus making it, you know, invisible. But this one doesn't curl. That's pretty weird. How about this one? You know, I'm wondering... Oh, this one doesn't either. What the heck? Oh, they're not invisible. Oh my gosh. These aren't invisible zippers. Anyway. Just ignore me. Those zippers are perfectly fine. I'm sorry I insulted that there's, you know, anyway. Oh, this is just my little sample. Oh, cool, Karen. Yeah. That's awesome, Debbie. Yeah, you always gotta iron the zipper. So we can go do that. We'll do our best. Oops, I almost pressed the wrong thing. So there's a few steps for doing an invisible zipper that really can set yourself up for success. And besides the fact you absolutely have to iron it, and you don't really want to do it on too high of a heat, but you're going to open up this little roll here and press it. So don't do it the day before, do it right before you're going to do it. I highly recommend the YouTube video by Angela Wolf. It's really great. If you're using a lightweight fabric, you should interface along each edge that you're going to sew onto the fabric, not the zipper, but the interfacing goes onto the fabric if it's very lightweight. And then she has this nice little nifty trick she shows where she pinks the one edge so that it's invisible on the outside. It'll be obvious when you see it. So we're just gonna iron this. Don't do too high of a heat. It'll melt. It is synthetic. This just kind of helps you get in there when you go to sew it. And don't burn your fingers either. My steam is off right now because my iron yesterday decided to ooze black or brown liquid everywhere on my samples for the pocket video. Another reason why I think the sewing fairy is still flying around here. All right. No, it wasn't, Lisby. All right, so the other thing that you want is your zipper should be longer. The other thing that you want is your zipper should be longer than the opening. That really helps. So if your pattern, your invisible zipper is going to a pattern that calls for an 8-inch invisible zipper, make sure the opening is 6 inches. If it's 8 inches, get a 10-inch zipper because it makes the bottom and that whole thing a lot easier. 1 inch is just not enough room. You need a couple inches. All right, and so the other thing is, this is the right side, the side that's smooth. That's why I was looking at the wrong zipper over there. And you want to make sure you don't get that confused. So this would be how the zipper would be. So if this one's going to this one, we're going to flip that over like this. And we're going to line it up. I'm going to put my raw edges. It just depends on what kind of garment you're doing. I think I'm going to switch out my foot. I don't technically have a zipper foot, but I do have this one. But if you have a zipper foot and you can move your needle to the left or right, that'll be really handy for this. And I'm pretending like I'm doing this on the Yantas. This is the Yanta pattern piece, and I'm going to do the facing too. So we're just doing this quick little tutorial just in case you need to put in a zipper, because that's the step we're at right now. We're at the side seams. And as soon as I do this, I'm going to continue sewing mine. I'm already getting hungry. This is going to be a fun stream. So there is this little stitching difference. I'm not sure you can see it. You can kind of see it, but right here. So this part of the tape of the zipper looks more like twill tape if you're familiar with it. So it looks like chevrons, like V's going down on this side right here. And stitching on that line is really, it makes it a lot easier. Warm the cat spot. It is, Sharon. This is fabric I designed, and I used spin cycle yarn to make it. But for some reason we ended up with a lot extra. So I am using it. It's the I think this is the linen cotton canvas too. So it looks very realistic, doesn't it? I love their yarn. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, there are invisible zipper feet. And you can even buy a package of them. Those didn't work on my Bernina, but they might work on yours. So oh man, Sydney. That's funny. Okay, so now we're stitching, and I'm just going to stitch along that line there. My zipper is right side down to the garment. It's kind of tricky on my machine to do these, but the zipper foot does pretty good. If it were any wider, it wouldn't work. All right, so remember, we're gonna go and just go to the notch on the Yantas. You know, I don't have that notch on here. I'm just doing the sewing part of it. All right, so now the key is to get these directly across one another. Theoretically, if you're starting your zipper lined up at the top edge there, you shouldn't have any problems, right? So, you know, you can just go by that if you feel comfortable with that. And I think like when you're putting in an invisible zipper especially, not having these two pieces attached together yet is critical to making sure they line up here and at the bottom, because then you have a little bit more room to fudge at the top and bottom, you know? So it makes it a little easier. But you also want to make sure you don't sew this on upside down. And the comments of her video are hilarious because people are like, you told me not to do that and I still did it. So I thought that was pretty cute. All right, so here we are. My zipper is zipped up, and I'm going to put this right sides together to here, just ensuring myself, you know, success, right? So we'll just pin that, and now I'm going to open it up. You can already see it's loose down here. It kind of helps. So here, the tricky part on this side is that I have to sew with the fabric to the right of the machine head. This feels really weird. All right, so same thing, you're gonna sew on that little fabric weave line that's different a little bit. Oh, I was supposed to be marking where I'm gonna end. That's kind of important. It's actually really critical with the invisible zipper to get the bottom stitching lining straight across left and right side. Let's see how I did. I'm really doing this casually. All right, not bad for this thick fabric. Now, if you can get closer to your zipper, it's going to be even more invisible. It's kind of bouncy in my hand there. You can see it's pretty good at the top, but you can see my zipper though. My machine just doesn't get very close. So, yeah, I know, Barbara, but I don't know why. I don't have that foot. Yeah, I love fly zippers. Hi, Adina. I look dressed up today. This is I didn't take a shower today because I slept in a little bit. Thank you. All right, and then down here, because you have this zipper kind of loose, it makes it a lot easier to kind of pull it away. Keep it out of the way when you're trying to sew up the seam here. And you're going to do your best to get as close as possible. You just might not get any closer than that. And then there you go. Mine's not pressed or anything, and the overlocking is making it a little bit bumpy. But that's not bad, right? I'm hoping that, you know, that's not bad. If your fabric's lightweight enough and you want to do it, just make sure you get closer to the zipper, but not too close. You do, Adina? How are you guys knowing all this? How do you get that? I wrote a list today of all the things that I need to buy because they're kind of piling up. And I am using my super narrow foot. That's as close as I can get, though. I can't move my needle. What I need is a foot where I can put the needle on the side of the foot, and I don't have that. You have an invisible zipper foot for your Juki? I'm kind of surprised by that. So yeah, so the closer you get, the better, because you see this is going to pull it around. So now you can be too close though, and then the head of this pull won't go by. So maybe kind of investigate and kind of look at it, like how far away can I be? So you see under here where that head is traveling. I could be probably a fat 1/16 of an inch to the left of this stitching, closer to the zipper, and it would be even more invisible. And if you were doing like a fancy dress, you would definitely want it to be more invisible than this. Okay, Adina. Oh, cool, Debbie. That's good to know. You guys are all so much more learned about your Jukis than me. I'm one of those MacGyver types where I'm like, I'm going to just make it do everything I can with what I've got. When you don't really need to put yourself through that kind of pain, you know? All right, so that would be your Yanta. And then let's put the facing on real quick. Let me put my foot back on because there's not a whole lot of surface area to this little foot, and it can be a little slippy if I'm sewing a little quicker or I'm just doing a nice flat seam. I don't notice it when I'm sewing something like this on the zipper. Maybe it's because between the zipper tape and the different thicknesses, it works better. I'm not sure. Make sure I got that on there good. All right, so I know I cut this interfacing upside down. And you're basically, this is kind of where logic will take over. You want the, I think that this one goes on the side. Yeah, it is. I cut the wrong way. That you're just going to look at this as seam allowance. Don't think about that zipper being there. Don't worry about it. It does not have to get as close to the zipper as you did with the stitching of the zipper. You're just trying to get your facing on here and clean finish it. So I've overlocked these edges first also, I should note. All right, so this is really confusing me that this is the right side of the fabric. All right, so then you're gonna line up your curve there. My dart would be in this piece right here, so my curve would actually line up better. And sew it at the seam allowance, which I think is 3/8 or 5/8. And make sure that your stop of your zipper, you're not going to run into it because you're about to sew right through the top of the zipper. And then come down along the side here. You might not be at your full seam allowance, but the zipper took care of that. The zipper is at the seam line, and it's going to put the garment at the right circumference around you. The facing is only there to clean finish this edge. You can tell it's like, doesn't really want to get too close to that zipper. Right, and then you can clip this corner here. You know, clip your curve, do all that stuff you would normally do. And when you're doing something like this, this is when you want to also make sure that your zipper is going to line up in this armhole pretty seamlessly from left to right, or front to back, I should say. So pay attention to that. So when you do your first one, then maybe kind of mark on this side. All right, I definitely want my stitch line to be there so it lines up when you do your other facing. And then that way you have a nice clean finished edge here. And it keeps that seam allowance from getting into your zipper up there too. So hopefully that helps some of you that need that zipper. And it was a little bit of an impromptu, casual sew through. All right, let's get back to mine. Yeah, that's what I need. I need that little quick chain screw, all these little options. I'm excited. Oh my gosh, Adina, you're kind of getting the bad luck with things lately with your machine. Like things that aren't serious, but that definitely, you know. All right, I'm doing my Tom stamps. 1 hour. Here we are. All right, we're going to do the side seams. I've already overlocked my side seams. We did that at the end of the really weird stream the other day because I kept doing things jumping forward then back. Get rid of this little trial here. So I'm just going to put these right sides together. Maybe at the top I'll do a little less than a 5/8 seam allowance just to make sure, you know. I don't have to do the shimmy shimmy Cocoa Pop to get them on, especially if I have to go to the bathroom. Am I right? So I think also if you're not putting in your putting in a zipper, you could do your side seam first and then overlock your edges together. That way you have less bulk. She has you do it so that they're separate, and it's basically you're setting yourself up for that zipper seam, but you don't have to. You can just do your seam as one layer, or you know what I mean, the layers together. Let's get rid of some of this extra sturging since I had to sit there and eat a snack and do all that seam ripping. It didn't take me that long. I'm kind of being a baby. All right, I'll probably top stitch that side seam, but because I don't want to change my thread, I'll just struggle with the second one and do them both at the same time. I'll struggle with both actually. You can feel that thickness of the cutaway pocket. That's awesome. So when I looked for feet, because you two have really inspired me to get more feet, all I kept finding was a billion versions of, I think, the rolled hem foot, which I don't need. There was one, I swear, there were 30 feet, and they were all different widths of rolled hems or something like that. I was like, what the heck? Who needs that many different widths of rolled hems? I'm not exaggerating. There were like 25 of them in there. It was like, you know, and I think they were like inches and millimeters or whatever. Okay, next we are at the strap. Just writing my timestamps down. That's what this is right. Look at, there's 54 of you. Why can't I point? Right here. Non-roll or knit elastic for a knit jumpsuit. If it's a jumpsuit, it has a waistband, like an enclosed one. Oh. I'm a fan of knit. Well, I'm a fan of, is it knit that I like? What's it called? What's the other one? I'm blanking on it. It's not knit. I haven't checked, Nancy. The compensator would be cool. And the top stitching one would be cool. The one with has like a little arm for distances. Okay, so I figured out the length of my strap. And what I want to know is how much do I want, if this is a 5/8 inch seam, right? We got to remember that. And that line right here is the cut line right there, right? Okay. How much do we want for a snap back here? I don't think I need too much. I think like going down to here would be enough right here. So that amount going past this line is exactly about 1 7/8 inches. Plus I want seam allowance for that, right? So let's double check it. So if we have this like this, if this is finishing like this, and then we have our snap right here, right? Have it hang down like to about right here. Trying to decide, plus my seam allowance. We'll just put 5/8 so we're consistent. So 2 3/8. All right, here goes nothing. 2 3/8. Yeah, you can probably do a straighter job. I can get rid of this pin now. I'm kind of curious if they're pinned the same, so I'm just going to put this on here to see. This is how it was. Definitely at an angle, huh? Oops. 2 3/8. So this one is a little bit shorter. Maybe I'll go to the lower end of that. So about right here. I have a little bit of leeway. I'm not too worried. All right. So this one goes to this one over here. I'm just going to notch it. Just one notch will be enough, so I remember. The compensator. Well, I didn't get to see what you wrote, family home. But welcome. All right. So I'm going to sew along down this one side, and I'm actually going to sew across the bottom. If you're doing a lighter weight fabric, you probably could leave this open. That way it's easier to turn this right side out, and then you can just hem it up when you're done. I'm not going to do that because the denim's kind of thick for that. I also didn't interface mine. But someone gave a great tip about that they only interfaced half, and I think that's a great idea. The denim is also obviously enough of a stabilizing fabric. I'm not too worried about it. So you see this is not lined up, and the reason that is because I saw some torquing, and so I let it relax so that it wouldn't do that. That's why I let that hang off like that, and it's probably just my cutting. Oh, I was going to go across the bottom. I can still do that. Reinforce that corner now. Non-roll. Yeah, but the it's not knit because there's knit, non-roll, and then the one I always use that I always talk about. All right, Mrs. Necro. That is so cool, Mrs. Necro. Big congratulations. Good job. I know, Adina, right? I am definitely feeling like this weekend I'm going to just buy a machine. You know how long it's been since I did that? I mean, yes, I know I bought this one, but I just was like, this is what I want. I went and tried it, and I was like, great, when can you deliver it? Braided. Thank you. Braided is my usual preferred one. I feel like the non-roll, it rolls. I don't know. I feel like it rolls. And I feel like the knit can be a little bit too relaxed. Where's my loop turner? So let's see how my loop turner works with this, because this is a pretty lightweight little tool. But it's a pretty wide strap. I'm thinking, we'll see. The other thing I can do if this doesn't work is unpick this stitching and then just turn it in to the inside and edge stitch it, you know. I'm just going to take it out. I don't want to poke my little thing in there if it's not going to work. Usually I can get it in there. We'll just do that. Well, Martina, you don't see me always so fast though, right? I don't get to do that all the time. I really gently pull this to get it started. And then once it starts kind of gliding in there, then I feel pretty good. Just don't get eager. Don't get eager, because all I want to do is get this to where I can pull on it without using the tool. And I hate it when that happens too, because then it's kind of hard to see. See, like this is too much folded, so you got to kind of straighten it out and let it glide. There we go. I should put one of these in the little affiliate thingy. Now they're working, Ray. I feel like I'm pretty close, Libby, but I couldn't quote to you what I'm thinking. I mean, not that it's a secret. I just feel like I'm kind of waffling between a few, and I don't have the numbers memorized. It worked! Of course it works when you're trying to remind me that I use my seam ripper. So, I think the Juki MO1000 is definitely the serger I'm thinking about. For the cover stitch, I've heard a couple of things. Like someone said today about that they're in a baby lock group. And, or no, I'm sorry, they're in a cover stitch group on Facebook. Apparently there's one of those, if you're interested. And she said, I have to say, like, nobody that has a baby lock has complaints in there. Pretty sure that's what she said. And then the Genome sounds pretty good. It just sounds kind of noisy, which is kind of an issue for us with the camera, with the stream. All right, so let's just poke these in here because we're top stitching this anyway, right? Let's get my awl out to get the points. You can even just take out a few of these threads, make it even easier. I definitely want two machines. I'm a little concerned about having two machines have to be set up here. See, and I feel like I'd read that somewhere too, Adina. The loop turner, I feel like that's one of those things, Sharon. Like if you like one way of sewing something over another, I feel like it's like a how we do things, how we learn type of things, because people love that other kind, this kind, and I can't get it to work at all. People love this. I saw Black Woman Stitch, the Instagram account, you know, who has the podcast, Stitch Please. I've seen her use this and she makes it look magical. I cannot get it to work for me. So I think it's just one of those things on how you handle things and what works for you, you know? So, yeah. It might not be your style, but it's works for me. Ooh, good job, Terry. You already found homes for a lot of those machines. They all say DDL. I don't know what that means either, to be honest. Yeah, see, Libby, I'm wondering that. And this is the cover stitch that I'm thinking about. Yeah, and so she had the Imagine. And what did she say? She felt like it doesn't go through thicknesses very well. And that's one of my things is I frequently overlock through thicknesses because I'll do it on all kinds of stuff. You're thinning the hurt. Ooh, Terry, 13. How do you feel about that? Do you need like a little session? Or are you just really motivated to get that other machine? You don't mind at all? Is this what it takes? I feel like when I was still kind of getting, you know, my sewing preferences and style down, I feel like that's always happening, right? I feel like I had a few machines mainly because one would do a buttonhole really good. One just was fast and it was a workhorse and just kind of, you know, whatever. One had, it sewed knits really well, you know. And then when I could start affording a better machine and have the luxury of having an industrial machine, not moving around a lot and stuff, that helped. But it also meant I had to let go of a couple of those things. Yours is the cover stitch, Libby. That's good to know. I can't get an industrial. I'm not going to get an industrial, Adina, because fitting another industrial here, and then I have the whole thing of always moving them and stuff. I don't know. I like the industrial serger. I also feel like I'm pushing it a little bit by having an industrial machine for the stream. Because I don't want people to feel like, oh, I can't do what she does because she has an industrial. Certainly there's things that my machine does better. You know, like a lot of that heavy duty bag making and stuff. And some of the denim sewing I do. I should not have sewn these ends. And having an industrial serger, I feel like that creates even more separation. And what I really want, and that's, you know, it's why I sewed French seams for so long, right? I never want to assume everybody has a serger. I'm just trying to get these ends in here, and I'm being fiddly because I was trying to do a shortcut, and shortcuts sometimes just don't work. Which one are you sending to me, Terry? No, I'm just teasing. I don't want to collect machines. I've been there, done that. Really, Derek? How do you guys have time to use that many machines? Come on. It's because I clipped these corners. Because I clipped these corners, this makes it harder. You wouldn't think it would be, but it is harder. Because I don't have anything over here to grab, you know? Maybe I'll open up this seam. Fold it there, and then make all of this comply, because then it's flatter. There we go. That helped. house, my office is what, 350 square feet. Would you guys say that that's small, medium, average, large? Because I know for some folks, they would love to have just a dedicated space they didn't have to take down every night, you know, when they're done, like dining room or whatever. Holy fussy heck. Okay. I need a pin because I don't want to let go of that puppy. I'm going to iron these. Actually, what I'm going to do, just skip ahead a little bit. I'm gonna overlock this piece right here, and then I can get my serger out of the way. So I overlocked. This is the only thing I've done off camera to progress my overalls forward. I know I did all the seam ripping of that top stitching and switching my pocket fabric to the right side, but that wasn't anything that changed the construction. I didn't like cheat on you guys, right? The only thing I've done so far is I overlocked my facing edge, because remember my facing, I kind of scooped out all this extra fabric and I'm doing a curve. But I told you guys I would show how I'm going to do this curve, because this curve is going to be really tight. Even I'm like, can I do that? So this is a good lesson. Maybe I should have cut them down here and made a flatter curve right here, because getting my machine here at the serger is it's a little bit of a stretch. So I'm going to do that, and then I can move my serger out of the way, and then I can iron these. All right. So let's see. I'm going to okay. It's large. Okay. That's what I was thinking. What's a beacon? Oh, that's so true, Terry. That's kind of how I felt with selling my industrials. Woo. Hey, Debbie. Thanks for following. Is that a Twitch thing? Oh, that is Twitch. She can't see me saying that. All right, so I'm going to try my best. And when I get here, I may have to like lift up my presser foot and kind of adjust as I go here. Because remember, your blade is here, your needle is here, and they're about a 1/2 inch apart on my machine. So that blade's going to get here before the needle does. So I can't just start turning too soon. Otherwise, my needle will not be sewing on the fabric. So sometimes I try and pretend like I'm straightening, making it a straight line, you know, because this is how normal, this would be how the fabric's going to lay. So I pull it over and straighten it out like this. I don't want to cut this curve on this side, but I want those needles to stay on the fabric. So it's pretty steep. Ooh, I did cut a little bit. Let's see how I did. Not too bad. Not great. I have a little nick in there, but the threads are all intact. So that's not too bad. Do I want to do my side seams? They're going to be enclosed. We'll do the side seams. Let me go get my other one. I didn't do the side seams on that one. Hey Elizabeth, how's it going? Oh. Your wool mat leaves fluff. Mine doesn't leave fluff. It never has. What the heck? Why is your wool mat doing that? All right, I'm going to move this. And I need to move it onto the pattern table. Ooh, I caught the lip of that. I thought that was going to go south real quick. Because I have like all this stuff set up for snaps. Is this how I want this? This is how I want this. I can't really make this much taller though. I mean, unless you're doing this to your wool mat, Tina. Running your serger on there. That's so weird that you're gonna try on your jumpsuit. You got this, Sydney. It's gonna be great. It's only gonna need shorter hems, that's all. We need that on a t-shirt. May your freshly sewn project only need shorter hems. Ooh, Nancy, that sounds nice. Wait, Donna has a space outside. I think I missed that. Oh, I can see it up there at the top. I'll have to go back over there and see that. All right, so I'm just ironing my facings here. Like I said, I turned the steam off because something's going on. Look at it. Yeah, I've never had this leave fuzz. I think the only funny thing about it is there's still little pieces of alfalfa in there. Little sticks. Oh, you're making something, Donna? Oh my gosh, how exciting. You would wear that tee, Serena? Me too. Maybe a better one would be, may your sewing project only need a good ironing. I'm missing the steam, but I don't trust it right now. Okay. Let's see. A she shed. Okay, wait, let me see what you're making. Your sewing room built in the garden. It's 3 meters by 6 meters. So that's 9 feet by 18 feet. That's great. Roughly. You don't have any alfalfa. This one was, I just got this at my local fabric store. And it's a company in Oregon. So, I don't really know. I could probably look for the little tag. I know there's a lot of like spelling errors and typos on the enclosed little piece of paper, which is kind of cute. It's kind of oddly charming and probably would drive a grammar nerd crazy. All right, so I got my straps ready and I'm going to top stitch these now. So let's put on our top stitch thread. I've been using this. We talked a lot about it in the last in the sewing part 1, but this is this is the Wonderful Spaghetti, and it's weight 12, so it's pretty thick. I discovered it by accident in a section of the store I don't shop, because I was looking for some top stitch thread for my Ames jeans last year, and they don't have any top stitching thread. I found it later, actually. It was in a weird little spot in a little basket all by itself, and it was all the traditional colors. But then by then I was kind of hooked on the idea of doing green. It does act a little differently. Like it's I think completely cotton thread. So. That is so cool, Adina. Has a big sewing room. That is so cool. All right, I think I'm gonna go. I'm trying to decide. I'm just gonna go along the sides and then across this and down. So let's do a little sample sew on there, partner. Here we go. When I'm sewing something like long and narrow like this, I always used to get like gentle torquing across, like little drag lines across, because I would go down one side and up the other. Usually I now only go down one side and then I go all the way back to the top and I go down the side and then I prevent that. Because I'm going to go across the ends on this particular one, I'm going to go back up that side, and not to mention this side's a fold, this side is a seam. So they are going to react differently. So I just realized unconsciously what I'm doing is while this is sewing, I'm actually pushing this a little bit to kind of pre-compensate for that later on. Just so I make sure that this isn't getting a little bit stretched this way, because these are 2 layers, right? And your presser foot might be pushing the top layer like this while the feed dogs are pulling the under layer. So it's just this really subtle thing that kind of, you know, sets you up for the torquing, and you don't want that to happen. Let's see if I can get this a little bit crisper. I feel like I'm not. I'm glad this little end isn't going to show. It's bumpy in there, and I'm just going to pretend like I don't notice it because it's bugging me. All right, I'll do one more. Yay, Sydney! Not horrific for the win. Yeah, Dina. I've said that before, and that's all I'll say about that. Then maybe that's the other t-shirt we need. May your newly finished sewing project not be horrific. In there nice and flat. This one's a lot better, except it's not as straight. I would have just set this up differently if I'd known I was going to unpick that stitch, you know? I don't know, Martina. The weird thing about moving an industrial is if you do it a lot, you end up having the right kind of thing to do it with. It's like this cool little nifty dolly that fits it. And in fact, my mechanic, who's significantly older than me, delivered mine by himself. So, but that's because he also separated the head from the table. The head, I can carry the head. It's very heavy, but I can carry it. It's not a big deal. I mean, it's like, if you have back issues, it's probably a big deal. The weird thing that's very subtle, that's hard to understand about moving it, is that when you're holding the table and moving it, the person at the heavy end of the table, the legs of the table are flush with the legs of the base are flush with the end of the table, right? Whereas on the light side, the legs come in from the table. So this person can actually put their knees under and walk, whereas that person has to shuffle baby steps. And it'd be so nice if it were the opposite. Like if at least the heavy end had that space for your knees to move. Okay, this right now is kind of horrific and driving me nuts. It actually does look as bad as I think too. So let me fix this a little bit. I don't like how soft that edge is. It's not very crisp, you know? I just realized this morning when I was coming here, I was like, ooh, my overalls are going to be ready tomorrow, and I planned on gardening tomorrow. And then I was picturing this whole hilarious photo shoot with my daughter. And then I was like, maybe I could learn a Fortnite dance. But this one, like the song of that dance kind of popped into my head. And then I was like, who am I? That ain't happening. I am not a sewing, dancing Instagrammer. Yeah, everyone's terrified of moving it. There's no dolly that can go up attic stairs Yeah. There is common sense for not putting an industrial machine in your attic, Adina. But I'm only teasing you because I like you. Yeah, the head's probably about 75 pounds. The table's not so bad. It's got a motor. But yeah, it's awkward. Very, very, very awkward. Oh, and I forgot to mention, it sits in a pan of oil. So you should just drain it, but none of us do. We move it and we have to keep it level. So when you get it into a truck, you can't lift up one end and get it up there and then lift the other. You have to lift the entire thing evenly and put it on the truck bed. And that's usually what ends the friendship of the people who came to help you. So, all right. Let's attach these straps. So remember, I already figured out how long I wanted them, and that's why I know that I can finish my ends there. So these are kind of interesting. Pretty sure these line up. This seam allowance is 5/8, but I think around the armhole is 3/8. That's what it is, yeah. Kind of thinking I'm gonna... Well, I was really lucky. Did I wait? Do I have... Oh! Oh, that's a major mistake. Anyone see what I did? Major. Here, I'll show you at this end. I forgot. They don't have any oil. What the heck? I don't even know what I did. I have two right straps because of my top stitch thread. How do we feel about cheating and just top stitching this one? Wait. I notched them too. So this one is correct. Wait, no. This is the wrong one. Wait. Oh, they're both wrong. Oh, man. No. This one's, well, yeah, they're both wrong. That's so funny. Ugh, you guys are distracting me. And on top of it, remember I had left and right. They're only a 1/4 of an inch difference. Not a big deal, but still. I was trying. Yeah. All right. So we'll, this one's okay. Oh, I'm wrong. This one is okay. It's this one. I'm going to cheat. You're going to watch me. This is definitely cheating. I'm going to stitch on this side, and my navy thread might go through my green thread. So all the perfectionists out there, now is a really good time to go get a snack, maybe check the news, maybe, you know, start the sprinklers and come back in like 4 minutes, all right? Because you don't want to see what I'm about to do right now. So your sanity is my top priority, okay? That is exactly what I need, Sydney. Thank you. You can come back in now. Dang, you can't even tell. You can't even tell. All right, leave for a second. I'm going to do something really quick. Just leave again, just a second, okay? No, I'm not. You're safe. No, gosh. Yeah. Yeah. Just go. You need a straw now. You need a straw. Go use the restroom or something. I'll be right back. Okay. All right, it's safe to come back in. All right, Martina? Exactly. Thank you, Adina. Don't think less of me. Never happened. I am totally going to blame you guys. All right. So this one goes here. I think I was, yeah. That one goes here. Exactly like this. I'll even this up. This is the one I wanted to prevent that torquing from happening earlier. So this is one of those things that's a little bit tricky to line up. And I think there's a notch or a mark on the pattern that I did not see. But this is one way you can tell. I'll show you how you can tell if you didn't want to get up and get the pattern piece or get it out because you folded it all up. This edge right here has a 5/8 inch seam. This is how much I like. You guys, I'm going to use my Choco liner because this yellow will probably be here forever. All right, so I'm not as good at using this as like I do my see-through. All right, here's the 5/8 line. Okay, and the armhole has 3/8, right? So we just continue this little line here, here. But then up here, these junctures need to juncture at the same part though. So that's there. Why isn't this one doing that? So this is a little bit asymmetrical, probably because of my cutting or sewing or whatever. This is kind of good to know, right? We want this point right here to happen at the same, like we want a point right there. In other words, right? There you go. Tina, see, you needed some iced tea. That sounds good. And you want to know where to line this up, so you're going to do the same thing. Let's put the 5/8 inch seam on this. What I'm getting at is this little spot right here, this little juncture. You need to know where that is on that line, right? And these edges line up, but what about up here? I'm pretty sure the seam allowance on this is 3/8 at the top here. Because it's 3/8 around the armhole and it's only 5/8 here because there's extra for reinforcement of the strap. So this little point here needs to line up at this point, this juncture up here. And that's what's going to make these look so nice in the back. So you want this little line to hit that point. So mine's a little bit off right here, and that's okay. I'm going to line it up down there, but not up here. And I could tell this one was a little bit off. It's probably just the seam allowance I used on the back on this side or something like that. So this would be good. You really want these to line up, though, at that point. Right, so then we have that. We still have our seam allowance at the top. That makes sense? All right, let's do this one here. The point goes down. That kind of stuff used to confuse me so much. Now it's I just don't think of it. Occasionally, though, I get really thrown for a loop, and I think you guys have seen that. All right, so same thing up here. Gets a little trickier because you've already sewn one. And let's put our 5/8 inch on this one here. This is not my favorite to do seam allowances on because there's not a line in between on the eighths. Eighths are inches too. Okay. So again, there's my seam. So, and remember, the center is not my top stitching line, it's the seam line. So we're gonna look at that, line that up at that point. So is the perfection, am I redeeming your perfectionism right now, Adina? A little thick. Yeah, it might not even sew right there. Yeah, it didn't. I think because my presser foot won't lay straight down. Wow. God, the weather's just so different all across the United States right now. I saw Colorado got snow last week, and I'm sorry, if you live in Colorado and you're not surprised by that by now, then you haven't lived there long enough, because that is one state where it is so unpredictable between Labor Day and Memorial Day. Let's try that again. We'll walk it a little bit. The problem is my presser foot can't sit flat. Oh, I just broke the thread again. And I'm using Topstitch thread, which is all cotton. Shoot. I kind of want to leave this on, but maybe I should just change it. That way I can get the facing on and all that. I won't be wasting my Topstitch thread. And I think this is, even though it's lighter weight, I think it's a little stronger. We'll see. We'll put it to the test. Good, I'm glad, Adina. Get in there. A little bit of oil there. All right. Let's see if that's better. All right, how we do? Not bad. There we go. Remember, this is the center of the seam, not the top stitch thread. That's just a little something to bug you. Yeah, do you live in Colorado, Mrs. Necro? That's what it sounds like. All right, so let's put on our facing, and it's going to be even tighter now and through here because we got to push these out of the way while we sew around it. So this is kind of one of those good luck moments. Your zipper foot might come in handy getting around these straps. So let's see here. We have our facings right here. And I'm sewing these the same way I would do the full-size facing, so I don't think there's any changes. I just made mine smaller because of the bulk of the denim, and I just didn't want to get crumpled up. Let's get rid of all these serger threads. Yes, I do, Adina. If you can make it work, then go for it. It'd be nice in certain cases that are two-sided, like this strap, right? Thanks for asking, Debbie. If you're on my page, there's a little subscribe button. So in Twitch, it's very confusing. Subscribe doesn't mean the same thing on Twitch as it does on YouTube. On YouTube, when you subscribe, you're just like subscribing to that person's channel and hoping that you catch their updates when they have a new video and it shows up in your like little notifications feed, you know? Whereas in Twitch, when you subscribe, it means you're becoming a member and giving them money. And that Prime thing doesn't cost you anything, which is great. Amazon just they own Twitch. So oh, yeah, Utah, exactly. Yeah, I have a friend who I talk with regularly. I'm going to do my side seams of my facing together here. Oh, wait, let's put this label on. Do I want to just do it back here? I think I do. I'm just going to top stitch it on to save a little time right now. I was thinking about doing something a little more creative. But let's just also secure these serger threads that are a little bit wobbly. That looks better already. Because when I went around that curve, you know. All right, I'm gonna do my side seams, but remember, if you did the zipper, you don't want to sew the side seam of the one that the zipper is gonna be on. And personally, I normally would have sewn the side seam first, and then I would have done the serger because it would be a nice continuous thing. I'm not OCD about much, but that's something that I do like. Maybe I'll even tuck these up like this so they look nicer, you know? Trying to redeem myself with Adina a little bit. See, if I could wink at you, but I can't wink. Sorry. Winking is extra. Mainly because I can't do it. Right? Best snow on earth. I'm just turning up these little corners to make it look nicer on the inside. Just a little. Yep, so true, Adina. On my I hadn't logged in my personal Instagram in a really long time, and I caught someone's post on there, and they were like, "Wow, it's going to be a drought this year." And it's like I'm so conflicted. I'm like, on one hand, a drought is terrible for fire season, but it's good because there's not all this extra fuel, like all these plants and stuff. So it's like I don't know what to hope for anymore, you know? All right, so let's line up our facing. The back's going to be really tricky because we have the bulk of these straps. So we're going to do our best. And maybe what I'll do to kind of get my sewing legs under me is I'll just start, you know, down here at the side seam. You know? Oh, did I want to top stitch my side seam? You know, maybe I will, but I'm not going to do contrast thread. That way we can get this huge side seam kind of buttoned down a little bit. Let's get rid of some of all this hoo-ha on my table too. Move you. Don't know where these timestamps are at. Really can't be trusted to do these. Thank you, Ray, for doing those. She did the overall sewing part 1, which was extremely nice of her. I was going to try and I was like, okay, I'm going to give you the labels so you just know what to write timestamps for. You don't have to write timestamps for everything I do. I just want them for the steps, you know? And I thought, okay, I'm going to get to them and then I can say, okay, I don't need it anymore. And I never did. I'm pretty busy right now. Oh, and for those Tier 3 Patreon patrons who signed up for the Saturday Zoom session, today's our first one at 4 o'clock, which is 3 hours from now. So whatever time zone you're in. Can you see okay? Can you see okay? Oh. Look at that, what the camera does. It hates that kind of thing. It's a little dark. Why aren't you guys shouting at me about that? Is it kind of dark for you guys? Let's lighten it up a little bit. That scared me. I have a little back tack right here. You can't see that, but it's right here. I don't use the big one. And sometimes my garment will catch on it. It never causes me a problem, but it does catch me off guard. Oh, that's so awesome, Adina. That's really great advice. Ooh, Adina, you're in law school. Didn't know you're studying law. That's pretty amazing. Oh shoot. Nothing to worry about. It just feels like I'm sewing on it. Alright. didn't, right? Nope, we're all good here. All right, now we're back to the facing. Trying. I will get the hang of that. All right, so maybe I'll just start on the front right here. We're gonna go all the way around, lining up all these edges. I never did stay stitch these armholes. Not very critical with the denim, but if you were doing something lightweight, hopefully you did. So make sure you enclose that stay stitch line inside the seam allowance for your facing. This will be when you'll know you remembered to sew your darts because your facing will fit. Line up your side seams. Kind of glad I did that. Look how nice and flat that is. You know? Oh, okay, Ray. It's kind of dark. You guys are the boss. Sorry about all the crazy. You know, I think I can, oh, if I dial down the sharpness, does it make it too blurry? Dang, I'm so envious of those streamers that have like a tech person sitting there. So that's interesting, Ray. So that is the easiest spot. There we go. Yeah, right, Adina? I agree with you. All right, so I already have my stitch line here, so I need to make sure I enclose that, especially since it's lime green. This one will probably be pretty easy because we're just, now I'm getting here. This won't be as easy. Let's pull this way over here. I'm just pulling both my straps there. And then I'm looking for my pivot point. It's gonna be right on the other side of this strap, like when I fall off the end there with my needle. So let's try and pull this out of the way. I'd be really careful here because you don't really want to have to go back and do this again. We don't ever want to do anything again, but you know what I mean. Like, try not to catch that strap in the needle by accident, you know. So this is going to be tough. Like, this is when you want the compensator, right? I'm going to hand crank it. It's not going through thick stuff. It's just really awkward. Actually, I'm not even sure. Do I want to go that straight across? Let's see. We'll see. I can barely get my strap in there, so I'm trying to get it fitted in here. Oh boy. All right. I might need the zipper foot. I just don't think I can do it. I'm going to go all the way across. Come on. Yikes. Let's see. This is that top point. There's the seam. All right, so I'm doing pretty good here. Let's make sure I don't catch the strap anywhere. We're okay so far. So what we need is more ability to get in here to do this other side. How could you prevent this? I think one of the things you could do is kind of how I did the ends here where I poked them in. And you just poke your strap in that hole and then edge stitch it. See you later, Sydney. Oh, nice. Enjoy. Do you, Adina? Yeah, I love the compensating feet are great. You're so amazing, Ray. You're over and above, Ray. One of these days I'm gonna reject your credit card. Okay. Like braids and glasses. Am I right? All right. So let's put the, see, my nervousness with putting my zipper foot on is I don't have a lot of purchase on the fabric. So let's start from over here and we'll meet it on this side, up at the center back. We'll start back where we left off on this front here, and then maybe we can work at it from that angle. Just turned it the other direction so I can still sew from the inside of the garment. Straps are kind of heavy. I think that'll be my backup plan. If I don't feel like I can get up there and be accurate, I'll probably just remove one strap and then insert it in there. So, oh really, Barbara? Cool. That's great. I'm glad I'm kind of echoing whatever she recommends. You can tell she definitely has some sewing experience, so she comes up with certain things. Yeah, Lydia, I think that would actually be really easy to do. What I would do is overlap your pant, like if this is the crotch of the pant, you know, overlap your center front seam and then let those crotches overlap and then make sure your hip measurement here is what you need it to be. Ray! You did write that early on if you're doing Nello. I think an overall skirt would be really cute. All right, here we are. All right, that's it for today's stream. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to do that. So I'm going to pop off this strap right here. Thanks, Ray. Did you guys get the alert? I didn't hear it. Oh, do I have alerts off? I have alerts off. Yeah. I did jeans to a jeans skirt, Ray. A little different. I think this would be easier because you don't have to deal with the waistband. So I'm going to pop off this one here. I think this will be the easiest way to do it. If I can just catch the thread, there we go. All right, let's see, I'm getting up there. Those are the starts of the green thread, like when I tried sewing it with the green originally. All right, so let's look at what we got going on up here now that I've removed that. A little spying in there. I think that's okay. But now I can get this straight across right here. Maybe. I say that and then. Okay. Let's get rid of some of this bulk through here. I'm just going to hack it down. A little nervous. Alright, let's clip the curve. We got to kind of do a lot of this other stuff before we can get back to it. So let's clip this curve. A little wobble right there, probably because I approached, here's the dart, which looks pressed the wrong way, doesn't it? Nah, I wouldn't do that, would I? Let's turn this right side out. Hope for the best here. Get rid of these threads. That's probably going to be the worst part, honestly. And getting all this fabric tucked in there, I think it's going to be really tricky. It might take me a little bit of figuring that out. Oh wow, really? You turned your pants into, oh, that's funny. Oh, sure, Dina. Oh, I know, right? Yeah, how did you climb trees in a dress? I'm assuming that that wasn't allowed as well. My funny story, I think, that you've all heard before is how I liked certain colors together that my mom didn't think went together. The thing to understand is, you know, I had a single mom and it was very, very uncommon in the early 70s to be a single mom. No one I knew had one parent. And I think if you knew my mom, you'd know how extremely creative she is and open-minded. And so to think back on her this way is kind of strange to me now. And I think, honestly, she was somewhat strict on certain things because of the single mom thing. She didn't want people to think she was falling short of being a parent. She wanted people to think I was getting everything their kids were getting. Like, she would show up at the father-daughter thing. And my mom has her own things, like, where, like you've heard me say, like, she gets nervous when she goes somewhere too. And her own anxieties as well. It's like our whole family has the same ones. And so the fact that she would do these like daddy-daughter things or take me camping when she didn't even like camping, you know, she didn't want me to ever say I didn't do the same thing because of that, right? And but so one of the things was she wanted me to look presentable for school. And I pretty much got myself ready because she was a nurse and she worked 12-hour shifts, so she was gone when I went to school. And so I would get myself dressed, but there were certain outfits she didn't like me wearing. And one of them was yellow. I liked yellow and pink together, yellow and orange together, and pink and orange together. And I still like those three things. And I had 2 pairs of corduroy pants, an orange pair and a yellow pair and a pink shirt. And I would wear those 3 things together. I loved it. And so she told me one day, she goes, "Now, Emmy, when you're getting dressed in the morning, I want you to look in the mirror and I want you to say, would mom like this outfit?" I wonder if she remembers saying this. And I remember trying it out once and being like, would mom like this outfit? I'm like, nope. And I just didn't think anything of it. She didn't qualify that whole statement with, now if you don't think mom would like it, don't wear it. I was just like, yeah, I don't think she'd wear this or like this. And I would just carry on, you know, and go to school. So, oh, this is so thick right here. I'm having trouble. I'm not going to hide it here. But, you know, I have the seam right here. I probably would have set this up differently if I'd realized I was going to have this kind of help or trouble. Yeah, she is awesome. My mom's awesome. I'm really glad I'm close with my mom, you know. My 20s, maybe not so much. I'm going to clip this corner. I may regret it. You were here to witness. I just don't think I can fold that back all the way right there because of the seam. It's just, there's nowhere for it to go. I got to make it so that my machine can actually sew it too. I do not like that. I do regret that. Dang. Okay, let's get in here. We're going to get rid of this seam allowance right here. Hammer the bulk, that's a good idea. I love brown and light blue together too. That seems very acceptable. And Adina, do you think that some of their precautions were not standing out because you probably already were getting pushback in your neighborhood for being interracial? Because I think like that would definitely, you know, play into that. Because people are butts. Yeah, but my very common story I tell about having a single mom is that I got all the kids in the neighborhood to believe in Santa again because they were saying, your dad's Santa. And I'd be like, yeah, but I don't have a dad. And then they'd be like, that's right, she doesn't. And they didn't know any other kids with a single mom, you know? So, yeah. Okay. Hammer. Hammer's a good idea. I happen to have one right here. But I can't find my, you know my nifty little like stiffener thing I have? I haven't seen that. All right, I'll try the hammer. But what do I want it to be like? Do I want this to be like this? I just don't imagine my machine sewing through this, even my industrial. This is becoming a mess. I'm a little nervous. I gotta focus so I don't tire out the fabric here. I mean, I could hand sew it, but what maniac would do that? See that? It just won't push in there. So let's get rid of more seam allowance right here. It's this seam allowance right here. This is giving me the trouble. Oh, I'm just losing my seam. Okay, that helped. I'm kind of tempted to edge stitch this with blue thread right now. Ooh, yeah, I'm losing this edge over here. Oh, okay, Adina. You and me both, Nancy. Not the needle and thread. What are we, sewists around here? All right, I only needed one strap, right? We're going for that one strap look. Oh, that does help. Guys are so smart. I don't have any glue, but I do feel like that helped a lot. have a little tuck there, and we aren't just not going to, here I say I'm not going to fiddle with it, but here I'm fiddling with it. There we go. Okay, so now I need to get my strap in there, and I think I'm going to trim it down. I'm going to trim 1/4 inch off. Let's get rid of all these threads here from pulling it out. We will prevail. Thank goodness I have long hair. Those agave plants might judge me. Okay. I swear if I get an alert right now, I'll jump. Okay. I had it, I had it. No, Andina. No way. We're just going to get rid of a little more bulk right here. I'm just getting rid of seam allowance in there. Oh man, it is really getting frayed though, but the glue idea might be a good idea if I had that for these little frayed edges. Okay, that helped. Getting rid of that seam allowance helped. All right. Further appreciation for all the jeans overalls we see out there sewn right with this little thing here. And now we know why they put a label right here, you know, the Oshkosh Bagosh, to cover up that juncture. That's really what's going on, huh? All right, well, that's it for today. I'm just teasing. Okay, let's do it. Oops. So they have you flip it inside out. I started there and that was not going well. And just like sew around it, Penny, because I only got one side and then I flipped it. This is where you start sweating. Maybe press it. I think the hammer is actually going to be better. But yeah, the pressing, I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to do the pressing anyway, but I think the hammer actually would work. Let's make sure, you know, everything's looking pretty good other than that before we seal the deal. I want to put that in there further. And I also want it to be the same angle. It's that little top spot that's really giving me so much grief. I'm just making sure it's this that cut line of the strap is lining up to the seam, the raw edge, so that I know it's parallel. And it is right now, so I just kind of want to make sure I secure that. And then I'm going to fuss with the top. Where do my pins keep going? Oh, Oh, Penny, that wasn't possible. I think you might have missed that. There was no way my machine was going to sew around that, like at all. Yep, one of a kind. Exactly. All right, that looks pretty good. I think let's iron it so we can just take a little breather. You keep a stick. I can't read your name. Is it Asian Afros? Asian Afros. You don't need straps at all, right? Who needs straps? Oops, I'm sorry, guys. Straps are completely overrated. We have hoveralls. They just hover on your body. Sorry, my iron is so close today because it's not in its proper slot. We'll start with this nice little easy section here, you know, the bib. Right? I really want my steam. I'm not going to take a chance. I'll get these corners a little better too. Trying not to upset I have all my snap stuff right there. I don't want to knock them off, you know. Trying to keep it all under the camera. Yep, hoveralls, right? Maybe the sewing fairy could do me a solid and just hold up my overalls and, you know, every time I wear them. She kind of owes me right now, you know? Okay, I'm kind of scared. I don't want to poke the bear with that strap back there. I really wish this could be higher up. I'm sorry, guys. Oh, wait, actually, let's see. Oh, wait. Look away if you get nauseous. Just close your eyes. Why isn't that working? Come on. Does that work? No. How does this work? Phew. Oh, are you Lady Ace, whoever was asking about the Prime thing? Because I did see that. It came up. This is the camera that drifts a little bit. I'm just zooming it in. I do at home, Deborah. I keep meaning to buy another one. But it's spraying water. See, I have a little button right here. I am using water. It just doesn't make any sound, so probably you can't tell, and you probably can't see it. But yeah. I don't think I can iron without some form of moisture, you know? The denim facing is a little bit overkill. I will admit, like if you were doing this and you wanted to do denim, what I would recommend, so you're not in this kind of pickle that I am, is don't use denim for your facing. And I didn't need to. I just kind of wanted it just because, you know, it is this long over, what was I going to say? Armhole. And the armhole, you know, you might be able to see a little bit of that you know, when you're wearing the garment, like poke, you know, like a little glimpse inside the garment, you know. And so that's what I was thinking. I was like, oh, I'm just going to do denim so I don't have to worry about that. But do we really worry about that? And once you sew something, I feel like it looks totally normal that when it's that way. You might not be able to imagine something, and then once it's sewn, you're like, oh, it looks like it was always like that. And so what I would do is a lighter weight fabric for the lining if you do denim. Like even a quilting cotton, but that's still kind of thick. You're falling. You are Deborah. Okay, cool. I feel like when I know someone's Twitch name and their other name, I feel like I know a secret. Yeah, I think I'm going to stitch mine, Libby, in the blue through there first, and then I'm going to go back and top stitch it. I think you're right about that. I couldn't follow the other part, but I think I know what you're on to, and I think that's good thinking. Yeah, Mrs. Necro. Well, you know, they sell it at my fabric store, my local fabric store. That's where I got it. I don't know why they say they don't have a distributor in the U.S., but my local fabric store carries it. That's where I got it. I didn't go anywhere fancy. I don't do anything fancy. I try and be as whatever you guys would do. The only thing I probably don't do that a lot more people do than me is I don't shop at Joann Fabrics or Walmart. But I've checked the fabric at Walmart and I don't ever see, there's no garment fabric there. I don't know where these people are getting that, because I went to this one in near me that was brand new, and the biggest store I'd ever walked into in my life, and I've been in a few Costco's. It was the biggest Walmart ever. And they had a whole, like, I'm like, oh my gosh, look, there's sewing machines over there and fabric. And we were picking up our Christmas cards because that we ordered them on Snapfish. And I had to have my husband come with me because I was so nervous about going there. And so when we pulled up and I saw how big the parking lot was and how full it was, I was like, oh, no. I'll just do this another day. And he was like, no. He did my little strategy. He's like, we're just going to go and we're just going to see. And then when I walked in the door, I was like, oh, it doesn't even feel like all those people are in here. He's like, yeah, there you go. And so then we went and got my stuff. And I checked out the sewing. And the fabric they had was mostly like minky and fleeces and quilting cottons. I gotta get my mouse. Oh, $90 is their free shipping? Yeah, I think so, Asian Afro. I think that would be, yeah, like a cute little contrast, you know? Libby, yeah, so you would just, yeah, like you would make your straps stitched together. Yep, exactly. Yeah, that's what I would do too if I was doing this thickness. Right, Adina. I know. He knows how to deal with us angsty girls in the house. Okay, so I'm going to pre-stitch this in navy blue, so all the perfectionists out there, just look away. And I'll be totally transparent. Right here, this is my center line. It lines up perfectly with this strap. This one, not so much. But here is my rationale. I'm going to stitch this down right now just to kind of get it to stay there before. It's my glue, right? But when I go to top stitch this, I feel like there might be some really subtle illusions I can do with the top stitching. Like maybe on this one, I come over a little bit more, or, you know, maybe stay on the edge on this one and come in a little bit on this one over here to put it closer to this center line here. and then it'll kind of give the illusion that it's centered still. Oh, Isabel, that would be awesome. Yeah, I feel like that would be a beautiful set of Yantas. And I bet you didn't have this issue. So I'm supposed to have like a point up there. Okay. Everybody, nobody panic. I didn't even make sure that my top edge lines up with the under edge, so here's hoping. I'm doing my edge stitch pretty close. Boy, I don't know, you guys. Okay. Yeah, I mean, oh, you know, let me be a life lesson for you. Okay, so I think next I'm going to stitch my facings in the ditch on the side seams here. And then I'm going to do my top stitching and my hems. And then my snaps, and then I'm done. No one will know. Right? So I'd like my facings to stay to the inside, so I'm going to stitch them in the ditch. I think she actually talks about this with the big facing too. I need to turn these inside out. At least now I'm not worried about my strap popping out, because that felt pretty secure. I really got to the edge there. I don't want to look at it right now. Oh, that's smart, Penny. Right, Adina? Exactly. They're gardening coveralls, right? Okay, so now we're on the inside. Let's get this nice and flat. Even if your seam, like if your seam looks like if it's not lining up and you're about to stitch in the ditch, it doesn't need to. What's more important is that when your garment's laying flat right here, like this, that's how you stitch it down right there, right? It doesn't matter if that seam line doesn't match the seam line on the inside. It's more important that it all lay nice and flat. Otherwise, you'll get a weird pulling thing, and then you'll be doing it again. All right, so I'm just going to stitch in the ditch right here. Just to kind of secure the facings of the side seam, since it's pretty thick. I'm glad, Nancy. I don't know. Oh, Isabella, I have such a great selection. I've bought a lot of fabric from Blackbird before too. I think that is one of my things. Like, I like linens mostly as well, and that's why I probably buy them from places like Hearts. That's right, Adina. Okay, can't even see it on the inside. Doesn't matter if it's not in the ditch on the right side. It's more important on the outside. So let's see. What else do we need to do in blue? Anything? I think that's about it. So now we're going to top stitch. Originally, I was considering stitching my facing down. That's kind of why I made it this width. I was going to stitch it around the armhole. But I decided not to do that, mainly because I was going to do the contrast top stitch. And I think that was just a little too much, even for me. So, but you could have waited to do your bib pocket and then stitch down your facing, and it would be nice and flush with the garment. And then do your bib pocket very last. It wouldn't be hard since this is kind of a flap, you know, it's loose. So. Yeah, that's true, Adina. They also do swatches, don't they? Or am I thinking of fabric.com? Hey, speaking of fabric, I am going to Oregon in May. And I want to know of any fabric stores you guys know of. I've been fabric shopping into Portland a bunch. It's been years. And I can go to Portland. I'll be about an hour away, and I think we're going to do that just so I can do that. I keep throwing away pins. Where's my little swatch? Oh, it was my hammer sample. Okay, so I'm going to start this top stitching at the underarm probably. Same thing, get this nice and flat so you're not encouraging any weirdness. Oh, we were going to get these points a little better, and they definitely need a little bit of care. I just used my thumbnail before. I don't even know if places will be open. Oh, Style Maker. I've heard of them. They're in Oregon? I've been to Josephine Dry Goods. Amazing. All garment fabrics. I wonder if they'll be open. Are many of you in that area? It'd be so fun to like meet a bunch of folks. Oh, really, Adina? How come? Do you feel like this side needs that? I don't ever have any trouble with it. This is pretty thick for this all cotton top stitch thread. My machine's okay with this. If there's even the slightest burr on any of these parts here, a big fat thread like this is definitely going to find it. So if you're doing something kind of thick, it'll push your needle around a little bit in there, and then that thread has a likely chance of rubbing up against that burr, because that burr is probably there from the needle hitting it, so it's all really close. So you gotta like be careful about that. I don't think I'll go all the way to Washington. Oh, you are in Germany? Okay, Style Maker, all right. Are they in Portland? All right, so let's think about this here. So maybe what I'll also do is make my point. Let me think here. What if I went across the top at the line of this green stitching here? So it would make this look very uneven, but at the same time, I think your eye would go to the stitching. All right. I don't really want you to see how bad that looks, but hey, we're all friends here, especially at this angle. So you see how my stitching is right here? I could sink my needle in here, go across and meet that, but then it leaves this very, very obviously. Or what I could do is go to a point maybe like right here and go back down. Or I could just go across. Maybe I'll go across, but right above the screen stitching. Interesting. Oh, they're north of Seattle. Oh, okay. I said Oregon. People, come on. All right. What do I think would look good? I think I'm going to come to right here. I think I'm just kind of hosed no matter what. I'm just going to go for it. I give it a 4 out of 10. This is when it's so abundantly clear we don't make 4 of something and get good at it before we do it, right? I should, huh, Dina? If I did, I could see my sister and her family. Inside the hem. Oh. Interesting. Oh, okay. That's what I'm thinking too, Adina. My hair will cover it. But, you know, it's still on my mind. All right, Barbara, you're making it sound like I'm not allowed to wear these in public. Is that what we're thinking here? Because it might happen, you know? Just gonna say, it might happen. Okay, I'm gonna get to this. I didn't really leave myself a very long tail, did I? I hate it when my bobbin thread's missing. I can't, oh, there's my bobbin thread right there. Well, I think we're back stitching this. I think we're back stitching because I did not have a really long bobbin thread on this one. It's right here. It's not even a 1/4 of an inch. We'll tie these two here and then I'll back stitch it. You guys are so awesome. That's right, Ray. Sometimes a 4 is a-okay. Right? This is just good, you know, it's like, I feel like that's why we do this, right? We have these streams so that then you know what you would do in the situation if you're going to make them yourself. You can see what will happen. That's not too bad. I'll take it. Hey, Beverly. I did, Beverly. I did. It has pockets. Of course it does. Really, Elizabeth? Martina, exactly. That is right, Barbara. Absolutely. And you know what? Where I live, someone could be galloping by on a horse. I did. I fixed it off stream. Let's see. We have our hems. And do you need to see me do hems? Because I could just go straight to the snaps. Although I will be top stitching these from the right. You know, actually, now that we know the navy blue thread is virtually invisible, maybe what I'll do is I'll stitch my hems twice. Adina needs a refill on her iced tea anyway, right? I think you could overlock this edge, and honestly, I probably should. Yeah, so maybe I'll just do these off camera. Do you need me to do hems? Just let me know. Really, Elizabeth? I'll have to see that. That's funny. Snaps, please. Okay, thank you. But at some point, you realize it does not have a point. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I'll do these off camera. Let's do the snaps. Let's see how they look. Do I want another row of top stitching? There we go. Pretty cute. What? Really, Isabel? That's not how the seam allowances worked. I think it's on their blog, on her blog, Mrs. Necro. She could have a YouTube. Gosh, I feel bad that I don't know if she does. Okay. Snaps. So let's see. Let's figure out where we're putting these. I figured out that I wanted to hang down about that much. I already figured out my strap length. And plus the snap will still let it do this, just like an overall clasp or a button and buttonhole, you know. The buckle, I mean, I think the way I could have probably gotten around doing that little buckle is if I'd sewn something to this and here, a little ribbon like that, you know. I just didn't want a bigger buckle than I already had. So, yeah, it's one of a kind. I missed it. Yeah, exactly. All right, let me get this stuff here. So I have some hardware left from my Kelly anorak. And I got this from Maker's Fabric. So we have the cap and this little like squish, it's just not squishy, but it's like kind of a chunkier circle. I'm doing snaps because, well, I just don't like doing buttons and buttonholes on stuff like this that are kind of heavy duty. I feel like the buttonhole eventually can wear out. Five acres, Margit. I wore the flight suit the other day. Yeah, or were you? It was awesome. It was so great because we did a little bit of a trek on the other side of the creek on one side that we hadn't been over and we wanted to see. And our neighbor had just done a bunch of clearing and he did it on his side of the creek, but it's on our property. And we could get across then and see. Yeah, I think that so too, Penny. My only problem is the thickness there. So, yeah, I wore it because there's poison oak over there. And it worked great preventing it. Okay, so we have, these are your snap, right? This is the top part. It's going to go like this. Yep. And then this is the bottom part. And then the little like soft, flat, smushed bump is the part that would go into this, the female end and the male end right there. And then this is the post that will set those. Okay, so we'll do the snap first. And I think like right about there. That's not typical, I promise. It's kind of nice that I needed the hammer because I actually dug it out today and had it. So that is pretty funny. That's your first time here and you see me using a hammer a lot. I don't have glue, but I think that could have been a good solution too. Sometimes when I set like tack buttons, I like to use my screw punch, which cuts a miniature little hole. But, you know, on these snaps, I'm a little worried the hole will be too big. because it can happen sometimes, you know. All right, let me look. I have a little tutorial up on my browser here. I just want to make sure I use the right tools here. I'm just using the one on the Closet Core site. I wish it wasn't so big and drawn out. I wish it was kind of a like little picture next to a step, you know, so you don't have to scroll. Like the picture's this big. All right. So we have our little die. And then for this one, yeah, we use this one here, right? No. Place the set. Okay, we're doing, oh, they did, okay, I'm doing the cap first. Wait, where's the cap? I'm missing it here. Oh, I was too far down. Got it. Yeah, it's this one here. Oh, there's a little die that Maker's Fabric gives you to cut that little hole. See that? So I can just cut the hole if I want, but I'm just use my awl today. I can't see chat, so I want to go back. Yeah, it's not all garden. It's 5 acres of property, but we have a lot of yard work to do. Plus there's a garden. The garden is probably just surrounds the house. And they have this huge garden area, but we turned it into solar panels. And now our meter runs backwards. It's pretty cool. Oh yeah, that's true, Miss Necro. I don't ignore your craziness. It's how I get into trouble. All right, so here we go. This is what I want, right? I want my snap on top. All right. It's going to be a little loud for a second. That doesn't seem very straight. That doesn't feel very secure, so let's give it a good whack. That feels better. All right, we got one, and then I have my hole on this side. So you can use this little die, and it's the same type of thing, and then you use the hammer, whack it. I'll just do one, I don't mind. I did this on the Kelly Anorak a lot. This is what's gonna put a hole in whatever you're cutting on though, so you gotta be careful. It's a little thick, and then it pushes it and it comes out this little spot right here. All right, make sure all this is level. Remember that time the rivet went straight through? Me too. I find that gets them a little bit more level if I do this, tap them a little bit. All right, so now let's do the other side. Yeah, right, Elizabeth, exactly. Yeah, so I don't have a vegetable garden, but we have a pond, and I'm still getting to know the yard because we've only lived there since June. And you know, it's like I kind of wanted to give the yard a year before I started making big changes. But now I'm feeling pretty good because I can see what's coming up on the things that died back, you know. All right, let's see here. I'm gonna get my strap lined up right here. I think I allowed about that much. Let's hope, right? Let's see if we use the same hole on both sides. Wouldn't that be nice? Yeah, that'll work. I'm getting lucky. All right, so now we have our other, I have this one button left to attach to the 1940s New England dress we made. I figure, I don't think they have in-person shopping at Hearts yet, and that's why I haven't finished it and sent it to them, and I'll send it with the Texas top. All right, so then for this side, you have this little like short, flat, rounded piece, and then this post. And this is the part that is going to go into the snap right here, right? And if you put it in there first before it's attached to anything, they're kind of hard to get apart. But if you need to, just to make yourself feel better, go for it. You'll get it apart eventually. All right, so we'll put the post through. Make sure you do it on the correct side. I probably should use the die and make myself a hole, because at least then it removes that fabric of the bulk of the around that hole. Let's do that. Because otherwise that fabric really has nowhere to go. The pond is such an amazing aspect to our yard, but I don't think I would ever have started it myself. So, but it's something always on my mind, and I try and definitely pay attention to it and make sure that I'm keeping it, good. Like I'm always like looking at making sure not too much stuff's falling on top of it. And it seems to be doing really good. Right, so this one goes over like this, right? I do it from this side. Make sure. Yep, I do it from the right side. You do the hammering on the right side of both of these. My dream right now is to make a running path on my property. Here we go. And that's probably just a multi-year project of mine to have a running path. But I feel like with 5 acres, maybe I could even get a half-mile track, Okay, Asian. Thanks for coming. Thanks for stopping by. That's so funny. I don't really know how to pronounce their name, but I game with someone, and I don't want to say their gamer tag, but it's not like you're going to be able to find them. But Asian is the first half of their name. And it can be a little awkward with new people in the chat because we just all call this person Asian. We just say, hey, Asian, how's it going? Like, that's his name to us. But we realize, too, for some folks that may seem like, odd. So I'm very comfortable saying Asian afros for some reason, just probably because of them. Is it Aaron or it is Asian? Okay. Asian. See you next time. All right, let's do one more here. These are so much easier. All right, let's get rid of all this stuff here. I think I was looking at my friend Rachel's Instagram a couple weeks ago. She does so many projects, and she's a Minerva ambassador, and she's inspired me. I think I'm going to try and do that. And her Instagram is Oak Blue Designs. She always comments on all my posts. She's just super supportive and kind that way. And she's handled my pattern testing, And she has this little mending kit. Oh, your name's Lydia. Oh, thank you for telling me that. Great. I'll try and remember that. Hello, Gina. Welcome. Have a nice night, Lydia. She has this little like roll-up toolkit for mending, and I think I need something like that for all my snap setting tools now, you know? Another Lydia! All right, that looks pretty good. What do you guys think? You like the snap idea? And I think, Penny, I would like a snap there too. I mean, should we try it? Let's try it. Let's try it. Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. I just need to remember to leave one snap because of the anorak incident that we don't talk about. Okay, I need you and I need you. And that leaves 2 snaps. I think that's what I need. Oh, it leaves 3. Perfect, just in case. Cool. All right, I'm going to get my stuff back here. I really want to snap here now that you guys came up with this idea on this pocket. Right here. There, you got the commands to work. I think so too. I just don't like how small it is there otherwise. Does that look weird having a snap there, you guys? Does it look like a face? My mom sees these. She's going to be like, your overalls are frowning at me. She got kind of upset that I have grumpy headlights. Two snaps. I can't use that many of my snaps. I mean, maybe I could. Oops. 2 snaps. I don't know. What do you guys think? It definitely looks like a face. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. The button and loop. All right, tell me more about this loop that you speak of. Looks like a nose. I have some magnetic snaps just below the top stitching. That somehow got more face-like. Yeah, apparently I have angry headlights, and I know what she means, and I just didn't know my truck had those. Just one snap at the peak of the pocket. Yeah, because I think the magnetic ones I have, they're for between the layers of fabric, so it wouldn't even show. You know what I mean? Just one? You know, I think with the overall effect, maybe it wouldn't be so odd. Let's pull up more of the overall. I was just thinking today how I would like to make some things over again because I like them so much. And but I was like, I don't know if they'll let me do that. Let's see the whole effect. If we don't think of a face, like look away from the TV. Look away. Go look at something else, and then look at it and get your first impression. You know what I mean? That's what I do. A rivet. Well, hi Claire. I think because I would like the option of being able to put my phone in there. And if I put a rivet, I do like that idea though, because I actually thought about what if I just stitched on the sides here and just narrowed the pocket opening. Just put like another triangle of stitching, which kind of could have been fun, or even a curve. Even just a tiny bit, like to here, you know? That's true. I could use Velcro. What's wrong with a face on my chest? Is that a pocket, or are you just happy to see me? Okay, let's just do the snap. I think this will be really happy. The thing with the magnetic snap, I like that idea too, but it's the kind of, Dina, that you'd have to put on this layer of fabric. It doesn't show, it doesn't have a cap. It's only the back side and this side, you know what I mean? It's great for bag making on like a flap, and the flap would be fabric. So I'd have to have done it before I stitched it down, and it's got slots that you stick through and then you bend them back. It won't, Elizabeth, but this way at least I don't always have to have it in there. My phone's on the floor. Magnetic's always awesome. I don't know if I want the magnet near my phone, but it's not a strong magnet. Well, and you know what, you guys? Let me just make this even harder. What if I did magnets? Yeah, that's what I think, Mrs. Necro. Ooh, there's a broken one. These things break because they're so strong. That's 38 cents right there. But it'll pick up every pin in my garbage can. You know, you could do magnets, you know, put it in the hem there, stitched on the sides, put one on there. I could maybe stitch on the side here, slip one of these in here, stitch it down again, so it's just inside there, and then put it right here. That's true, Libby. Good point. Magnets. Why did I offer that? Is that gonna be bad for my phone? Forget the snap. Isabel's like, forget the snap. Just skip it. Below the top stitch. I look up there at the screen. Okay, Elizabeth. I mean, you know, it's the internet. It must be true. It must be a live stream chat. It must be true. I don't think there's a problem. And I also am not sure. Yeah, I don't know. I'd probably put the phone in my back pocket, to be honest. These are neodymium, right? They're these really strong ones. They're very, very strong. Like, remember I've shown you guys. Look how strong they are. When in doubt, leave it out. Let's just do the snap so we're not worried about it. You know? All right, so let's put it, I think, up here. I don't want this to happen. You know? Yeah, my iPad has a magnetic thingy. Okay, Adina, nice to see you. Study hard. I'm like, do I go with the center being the stitching line here or the seam? And the point goes more like the stitching line, and so is this point. So I'm going to pretend like the stitching line is the center, because optically that's kind of what it seems. Like it's an optical illusion. All right. Sorry, Isabel, we're going for it. We're committed now. Okay, I think that's all the banging we need to do, in case that's bugging any of you. I know this won't last forever, but I know it's there, so I use this little bag. Okay, got that. There's squirrels running around on the roof. No tree work today, at least. I think the key with doing this is that you need a firmer tap than you think, and the tone kind of changes once you got it on there. I only do this to get it level, because sometimes it's a little bit like this, and I just want it to be level. I'm not sure if that's actually good to do, but it does seem to help. And then if there's a little bit of wobble in there, you know, you get rid of the wobble. Oh, a zipper. Yeah, a zipper would be a good idea too. I guess it's something that we've learned that would be good to think ahead on, depending on what you want to use your pocket for. So at least this might be an opportunity for, if anybody's doing this, to think about it. And, you know, it's not too late. Like you can... What was that? What did I just drop? It was the other piece. Yeah. It was so light, I wasn't sure. So you could, if you got to this point, taking off the bib pocket and then making it the way you want wouldn't be a big deal. It's pretty accessible as opposed to other things. When you get to this stage, you know, you're kind of like, oh, well, that ship sailed, you know. All right, last pounding. See how it changed the tenor a little bit? Nice! We're committed. All right. Put that there, so remember to put it away. And you. I got that hammer at a thrift shop. I love that thing. Cool, those are cute. Sort of wish I could have worked in that watermelon patch, you know, but oh well. This one does, oh no, it's fine. For a second there, I thought that was a little bit like this, you know. We had one of those happen. There we go. You want to see them, like, I'll hold them up to me. It might give a better, the pocket is a mood chart, yeah. They look pretty normal now, huh? My rug is so squishy that I can't really roll very good on it. Cute. Very cute. Here's my pen. Yay. Stop it, Elizabeth. Stop it. I mean, I can just put the eyebrows right here, you know. Maybe some glasses. Yeah, these are great. I'm excited. Cool. right, well, that's it. So next week I'm making the Texas top. It's a wrap top by Personal Clothing, and it's sponsored by Hearts Fabric. They sent us the project, and then I sew it up, and then I send it all back to them, and they hang it in their store, and it's theirs. And they sent this beautiful, like, dark purple, I think Brussels washer linen. Wait, maybe it was the viscous linen oil. I think it's the viscous linen oil. So that'll be fun, and it's probably only a 1-part stream. A sewing stream, cutting and then sewing, 2 streams. Then next Saturday, I'm going to be fitting the Dawn jeans. I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to do that so you can see how I'm doing it. I think that I won't do it to the extent I really want to do it quite yet, because I'm still thinking about how to get a pants form, and I've been searching things. I thought Bootstrap made one. They don't make one. I've looked at it, even buying them. I just want a tabletop one, though. Thanks, you guys. Sorry, I'm not trying to ignore all your compliments. You guys were here for the nitty-gritty of these. It's a little big of a tab, but it's okay, huh? Here's the back. I'll hem them up real quick. And then don't forget patrons who are coming to the Saturday meeting today. Don't forget. Link is in your messages. I don't think so too, Isabel. I think I'm going to live in these. I think I'm going to want another pair. I love no-waist garments. I just love no-waist garments. It's always been the tricky part for me to fit as well. You know, when I was younger, the jeans always gapped at the back waist. And now I have a tummy. You can put them, let's see, Libby. You're welcome to email me. It's sosolive@gmail.com, or you can write them in a YouTube comment or an Instagram DM, whatever's convenient for you. In chat, it's tough. I like hearing them in chat, especially because people are like, oh yeah, that's great, or she's done that before, or whatever. But chat is like when I go to a show and I meet someone, I completely forget what we talked about. Hi, Cheyenne. You're welcome. So thanks, everybody. Thanks for the Twitch Prime subscriptions. That's awesome. And Ray, thanks for the $5. I really appreciate it. Thanks. I've gotten a few patrons lately. Thanks so much. And I will see you guys on Wednesday. We're cutting the Texas top by Personal Clothing. And then look for this cutaway pocket if you want to look at that video. If you're interested in that. That'll be up soon. Next few days probably. So I'm trying to get caught up, and then next week will be the laundry basket pattern. I'm getting caught up. All right. Have a great weekend, you guys. I'm going to go eat some lunch. I'll see you guys soon. Happy sewing, all right? Let me know what you're sewing. Take care. Bye.